sociology? Sociology is about people. Sociologists study people as they interact with other people, whether it be at school, work, play. We look at large groups, small groups, or in organizations. By doing this, we not only learn about people, but we also learn about social groups and social systems, which is a major goal in sociology. Your textbook gives sociology a definition as the systematic study of human society. Sociology is concerned with every aspect of the self in relationship with others and every aspect of the social world that affects a person's thoughts and actions. The term is credited to Mr. Auguste Comte, and he coined the term in 1838. It's derived from two words, socios, which means companion or associate, and logos, which means word. At its most basic, then, it means words about human associations or society. The American Sociological Association defines sociology as the study of social life and the social consequences of human behavior. So we want to know what the causes are and what the consequences of their actions are going to be. Sociology is also a perspective. By this, I mean it's a way of looking at society and social behavior. The term sociological imagination was coined by Mr. C. Wright Mills, and what it is the ability to see how social conditions affect our life. People who have a limited sociological imagination often fail to distinguish between social forces and personal troubles. For example, take someone that's unemployed. They blame themselves. Maybe two people that get divorced. They blame each other. Success. We tend to praise individual achievements. But the sociological imagination asks us to broaden our perspective beyond individual experiences. For example, everyone regards the world from his or her own point of view. A school building may be seen as a place of work by a teacher, a place of learning by a student, a tax liability by a homeowner, fire hazard by a firefighter, and so on. But the sociological perspective is a conscious effort to question the obvious, to remove ourselves from familiar experiences and examine them critically and objectively. The sociological perspective operates at three levels. We have the macro level, the micro level, and the middle. Macro sociology deals with large-scale structures and processes such as war, unemployment, divorce, crime. Solutions to these problems are sought at the structural or the organizational level. At the macro level, we may try to attempt to change the structure, the organization, or the social system. Microsociology is concerned with the individual and the social institutions. So they are concerned with interaction among a few people. For example, the social problems of a veteran, unemployed worker, divorcee, criminal would be subjects for microsociological research. Solutions to these problems are sought at the personal or the interpersonal level. At a micro level, we may try to change the person, the behavior, or the interaction pattern. Middle sociology focuses on relationships between social structures and individuals. For example, things that may be occurring in your community, in your school, in your voluntary association, in your workplace. Middle level is smaller than entire societies, but larger than the micro level. For instance, the drama that surrounds the firing of a head coach. Sociology developed in Europe during the 19th century as a response to changing social conditions. There were three major social changes during the 17th and 18th centuries that were important to the development of sociology. One was the rise of a factory-based industrial economy. Two was the emergence of great cities in Europe. And three, political changes, which included a rising concern with individual liberty and rights. During this period, there were five outstanding sociologists which shaped and refined the new discipline. Among them were Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, Karl Marx, Emil Durkheim, and Max Weber. They all tended to think in macro terms. Auguste Comte first called it social physics. He believed that human progress evolved through three stages. We have the theological stage, the metaphysical stage, and the scientific stage. The theological stage lasted through the Middle Ages. This is when people understood society in terms of their religious beliefs. Social life and events were seen as manifestations of divine will. So this thought was guided by religion. During the metaphysical stage, this occurred during the Renaissance. It was a transitional phase. People began to think of social life as an expression of human nature. And then the scientific stage is when science replaced religion and philosophy as the means of understanding society. He coined the term sociology in 1838 to define a particular method of studying society. He wanted to understand society as it actually operates. His aim was to use this new science to cure social ills, and he did become obsessed with the goal. He focused on two specific aspects of society, which was order and stability, which he termed social dynamics, and according to Comte, these are the two factors that hold society together and instigate change. He also coined the term positivism. Knowledge must be derived from things that we can observe, rather than superstition, fantasy, or some other non-empirical source. The modern sciences are heavily influenced by positivism. Herbert Spencer focused his attention on evolution schemes. He emphasized the survival of the fittest and applied it to the study of how societies change. His approach was labeled social Darwinism, which led him to argue that if left free from government interference, society would weed out the unfit and allow the best to survive and produce. He wrote an article in 1858 or 52 defining the theory of biological evolution 7 years before Darwin published The Origin of the Species. After this publication, he accepted Darwin's theory of natural selection, and he became an advocate of social Darwinism. Karl Marx's views became the basis for the conflict school of sociology. He saw society as being divided into two classes, the haves and the have-nots, and this division gives rise to class conflict. He viewed the history of the world as a history of class struggle. Emil Durkheim was especially interested in what holds society together, which is the problem of social order. He was the founder of scientific sociology in France. His theories explain social change as resulting from population growth and changes in the ways in which work and community life are organized. He made major contributions to our understanding of social facts. He did an extensive study on suicide, and he was the very first sociologist to write on religion. Max Weber's main focus was social action. He argued for a value-free sociology, which is the elimination of preconceptions and biases in the research process. He was the first to understand the importance of the bureaucracy, and he pointed out how they're increasing dominance in the lives of individuals. In the 20th century, sociology developed more rapidly in North America, with the University of Chicago being the oldest sociology department in the nation. The Chicago School emphasized the relationship between the individual and society, which was the very beginning of microsociology in America. Major contributors were Charles Horton Cooley, George Herbert Mead, W.I. Thomas, among many others. Then during the 1930s, sociology shifted to the East Coast universities, and they were more influenced by the European sociologists and leaned more toward a macro level of analysis of social structure and change. Some of the major contributors were Robert Merton, C. Wright Mills, Peter Blau, George Homans, and many others.